Welcome to NEXTGames NM Hunt Series. Now today we'll be taking on 4 more classic NMs. To start with, we'll be taking on Bloodsucker in the Oubliette, and then we'll take on a trio of Molbol NMs, including Voluptuous Vilma, Voluptuous Vivian, and lastly, Capricious Cassie. Now Bloodsucker can be found in the lowest floor of the Oubliette, and can be difficult to spot as all of the other mobs in its spawn area are also called Bloodsucker. In fact, the only visible difference between the normal mobs and the NM will be that the NM is blue in color as opposed to the orangish color that leeches normally are. Now you may need to spin your camera and put it below the water to get the best view of these leeches to more easily identify the proper one. Now the spawn area is quite large and he can actually spawn anywhere on this lower floor, so there is quite a bit of ground to cover and check. Now the fight itself is relatively easy, with the NM having a level of 71, but other leeches in the area will link, so make sure you keep this in mind as it can complicate the fight when taken on at lower levels. Now this leech used to spawn only every 3 days or so, but it was one of the NMs who had its spawn timer reduced and is now spawning exactly 1 hour after its last time of death. The main drop from this NM is the Blood Bead Ring, which drops about a third of the time. Now this ring, paired with the Bomb Queen ring that we got in our last episode, will be most useful when we need to boost our hit points when taking on more challenging endgame content. Next, we have Voluptuous Vilma, which will only appear after no one has claimed the NM called Rose Garden that appears in the area for many hours. Now if this occurs, Rose Garden will immediately despawn, and then Vilma will spawn in Rose Garden's place. Now Rose Garden's going to spawn if the overgrown rose in the area has not been claimed for 10 hours, so it can take well over half a day for Vilma to spawn again once she is killed. Now Vilma and Rose Garden can drop Vilma's Ring, which can be very useful for mages to boost their magic points at this early part of the game. Vilma only has 6,000 hit points, so it shouldn't take long to take her out. We now go from Voluptuous Vilma to Voluptuous Vivian, inside of the Hoya tree near the entrance to Dragon's Eyrie. Now it has over double the hit points of Vilma at 16,000, and Vivian has only an 8% chance of dropping the Vivian Ring, which is another great MP tool for mages at this level of the game. Now the spawn conditions for Vivian are fairly brutal, and according to the reports, she will spawn 16 to 24 hours after her last time of death, by killing the demonic rose that spawns in the last area before Dragon's Eyrie. Now I've been able to get her to pop on a few occasions, but sadly have yet to get lucky enough for her to drop the ring. Now note, she is far more dangerous than Vilma, as she will spam Molbol attacks that will all be AoE instead of their usual conal attacks, which can cause issues for your trust, so make sure you bring plenty of healing trust to deal with this situation. We will now switch from Vivian to Capricious Cassie, who can be found on the bottom floor of Fei Yin. Now Cassie is by far the most challenging of these NMs, as she has 25,000 hit points that need gone through. Now of the abilities that you'll see used, Impale's going to reset hate on whoever it's used on, and go right through your shadows. In addition to that, Drain Whip will either drain hit points, magic points, or TP, and also ignore your shadows. Vilma will also use both Bad Breath and Sweet Breath, both being AoE and therefore hitting all of your trust. So you will need to keep this in mind when it comes to trust selection. Now Cassie drops the Cassie Earring and Aiming Bracelets about 30% of the time. The Cassie Earring can be helpful with boosting your hit points at the earliest stages of the game, as it can boost your hit points by as much as 50 at level 1. Now the Amity Cape is the rare drop here, and only drops 8% of the time, and it really isn't of use these days. Note that unlike many of the NMs we take on, Cassie's drops are all purchasable on the auction house. Cassie will respawn sometime after 2 hours since she was last killed, which is another reduced spawn timer from the old days. Let's go ahead and see how the rest of our 4th and final fight goes. Enjoy the rest of the run, everyone. that's going to be it for our second episode in the NM Hunt series. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're new to my channel and enjoyed the content, please be sure to click the subscribe button under the video and the bell icon next to it to be notified when my future videos are released. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.